quiero empezar por una de las cintas más esperadas en los 90, Elliot Forman PhD. En esa historia es muy creíble, Tim, porque habla no solo del paso de cómo es la realidad en la prostitución, pero también la comedia tiene un factor muy importante, que es su personaje como Doe. Él hace una manera inesperada en el que un tema muy serio se convierte en algo de conciencia. ¿Cómo usted recuerda esa experiencia en los 90?
Okay, we are going to talk about very, very early in the 90s, Elliot Feldman, PhD, one of the favorite movies from Jhon. And he asked, how do you remember this experience? Because we know that this film deals with a very delicate subject like prostitution, but with a very quirky sense of humor. So what are your memories about this movie? Early movie.
How did you find that movie to see? I tried to find it to show somebody, and I could not even find a copy of it. That movie, Elliot Fallon, PhD, was one of the very first films that I worked on. And I just had recently gotten out of the military, and I was going to college at the University of Maryland, College Park. And this film was being shot in Baltimore, Maryland. And I was so excited to get cast in my first feature film. And the director-writer was a very interesting fellow. I believe he's passed away now, God rest his soul. But his name was Rick Klass. And he was a very fond fan of the Italian filmmaker. I'm blanking on his name right now, Fellini. And he wanted to make a very Fellini-esque kind of a movie. And so I was very excited to be working the film. I didn't know at the time, I didn't know too much about Fellini. So I went out and I watched a bunch of his films and kind of got a taste for what that was about. And working in Baltimore, myself and my friend Randy Fink, who's now a gynecologist in Miami Beach, and Iris Smart, who died like a year after we finished the film, tragically. But we had so much fun on that movie because we were like these three. They called us the three Weisenheimers, which is kind of a American slang for these young guys who think they know it all. And we were playing these college students in Baltimore. And we had a limousine they were driving us around in the film and off the film. And so we were kind of, we thought we were the, big shits. And so it kind of worked well with the character. And so we played these characters just, again, going back, I wanted to look at the movie because most films I look back and see the performance from that long ago. It's, acting is for me, it's been a growing experience. I've gotten better, wiser as an actor. And some of my earlier work, like in Elliot Fallman, PhD, was, I'll say, not my best, but I was a neophyte, green. And so it was one of those things that helped me learn as an actor to become better. But we had a lot of fun. Casey Kasem, the disc jockey, his wife, Jean Kasem, was starred in the film. I think she was the biggest one. And then Randy Dreyfuss, who was Richard Dreyfuss's cousin, who looks a lot like him, also starred in the film. So I'm working on the film, and I think I'm working with some pretty big Hollywood types because, I hadn't done anything, just going to college in my first film. So for me, it was a great experience working on this film. And I had so much fun. I've only seen it once, and that was at the screening. And but I'm surprised that you knew that film. So cheers to that.
I will ask Jhon where he saw it because believe me, when Jhon watch a movie, it's real. But I will ask him. I will translate. Jhon, okay. Empiezo desde el final porque creo que sabes que te hacer la pregunta del millón, que ¿dónde la viste?
Uy, eso fue hace como 3 años. Yo me acuerdo que eso yo la vi en una página de internet, obviamente, en las propiedades, pero obviamente me enteré de que tuvo la oportunidad de estar con Rick Klass, que fue el que lo dirigió, y la verdad, créame, Tim, que usted es una de las personas más afortunadas en haber trabajado con él.
le diré, y créeme que lo que te voy a responder va con esto. Tim, I will translate, but Jhon said that he watched that movie 3 years ago. And let me give you your answer because everything, what he told me, you answer in that. Okay. Jhon, es bueno que hables de eso porque sí, de hecho, eso fue en Baltimore y Tim estaba en su época del ejército. Aquí voy contando rápido. Resulta que, claro, es de las. Rick Glass solo hizo 2 películas. Él falleció trágicamente hace poco. Él dice que para él fue una experiencia increíble porque tú sabes muy bien que, bueno, los 3 personajes principales son interpretados por Randy Lowell, también falleció, Tina Abell bueno, Tina Abell obvio, y Randy Aaron Finn. Resulta que Aaron Finn, antes de fallecer, que solo había hecho esta película y una película con Woody Allen, Crímenes y Pecados, él se volvió después ginecólogo, que eso es lo loco. En esta película, él dice que la recuerda con mucho cariño porque sabes que fue un gran inicio. O sea, ahí está Jim Kesen, John Harrington, Shelley Berman. O sea, el elenco es buenísimo. Dice que es una locura porque en toda creo que eso lo notaste en la química de la película, en toda la grabación eran los 3, Randy y él,
Sí,
actuando como sabiondos en toda la grabación, no solo durante la película, sino en eso. Él dice que para él, ya presumiendo que eso lo hizo todo, para él su proceso en la actuación lo ve como un aprendizaje, porque él dice que él le gusta mirar, y esto es lo bueno de esta entrevista, cómo comenzó y cómo él fue creciendo como actor a lo que estamos viendo ahora. Pero él dice que no, el haber estado con estos 2 grandes, que pues sea como sea, se retiraron de la dirección de actuación, fue algo genial, y que el director lo que quiso hacer fue algo como Fellini, y es una locura, porque él dice que no ha visto películas de Fellini, y después las empezó a ver para prepararse para el papel. Entonces ahí yo creo que
es muy
esa
afortunado.
respuesta, continúa.
No, le doy la palabra a César.
Dale, César.
Ok, bueno, yo soy César de México y quiero preguntarle por una película del 2017, esta película que se llama Circus Kane, donde el señor Tim interpreta justamente a Balthazar Kane. La película es sobre un juego de escape room que resulta que es real. Si no cumplen el reto, los protagonistas se van muriendo y pues el líder maniático de esta película pues es Balthazar Kane, el personaje de Tim. Entonces quiero preguntarle cómo preparó el personaje de Balthazar Kane y si le gustaría hacer alguna precuela o una secuela con el personaje.
Okay, Tim, this is from Cesar from Mexico, and he want to ask you, of course, about Circus Kane. How do you prepare your role from Balthazar Kane? And do you like, I don't know, to do like a prequel or a sequel of this movie? Tell the truth.
I would love to do a prequel or a sequel. I've been the director, Chris Ray, who is an outstanding individual. He had mentioned it before, and it's something that I would definitely love to do, is to reprise either a prequel or a sequel of Balthazar Kane. I just finished doing a film when I got the call from the director, Chris Ray, and I was just driving out of the parking lot heading home, and I had to pull over because Chris goes, "Hey man, I got a question for you, and I got this movie that I'm about to do, a horror film, and I think you'd be an awesome character." And he's the titular character, the main character, Balthazar Kane. And so he described the character, and he mentioned a little bit about it. He goes, he's kind of like a Rob Zombie kind of guy. He's a circus of horror masters. Think of that. And we talked more, and he said, I'll send you the script. He goes, but he gave me some bullet points on the character. And he gets disfigured in a fire, which is how he looks after the fire, obviously, with lots of prosthetic makeup. And he goes, but we'll start in the beginning, and we'll see you before. He goes, but this character is this bigger than life character, very theatrical, very, he's like a carnival barker. He's this ringmaster at a circus, and he's this man that just gets everybody excited about the show that he's about to present. And he goes, and he loves horror, and everything he does in his life is about the show. And so watching Circus Kane, and as Caesar has, I'm assuming, that everything became about being a showman. So I kind of thought about the character and did some research, and we talked about the costume. We talked about who the character was based on the script, and James Resek, the writer, one of the writers, Zach Ward was the other writer. They had created this wonderful character and this wonderful script, and Chris Ray, the director, producer, allowed me to kind of put my own stamp on the character and to bring him to life. And the fun thing about Balthazar Kane was I had so many ideas about him, and you have the script, and I want to stick to the script and what's written. And Chris would say, well, Tim, the script and the scene, there's not a lot. There's a lot of action of you chasing these kids or pursuing these kids throughout this house. He goes, and there's not a lot of dialogue written. So he goes, I want you to just sort of improvise and bring some stuff based upon the character that's been written, and let's just see where that goes. So as an actor, I love improvisation. I love theater. And this character, for me, kind of just grew out of everything I've ever done as an actor in theater. And I love classical theater and Shakespearean theater and Greek tragedy. And so I kind of brought all of that and wrapped it up into this tight ball that was Balthazar Kane, and then just let it go. And probably 50% stayed in. And he said, actually, after the edit, he goes, I'm sorry I had to cut so much out. He goes, but there was so much, and I only had so much time in the movie. So, I was surprised at how much he kept in of what I was able to bring to life. And I did some improvisations. I did some things which was very pop culturist. Jonathan Lipnicki, who's stars in the film. He, coming from Jerry Maguire, he had his little taglines where he would say, Jerry, did you know that the human head weighs 8.5 pounds? And so I always loved that movie. I always loved that quote, plus some of the other quotes he had. So after I had the scene where I dispatched Jonathan, there happened to be a human head hanging on a hook. And so I ended up saying that to him as he's dying. I said, did you know that the human head weighs 8.5 pounds? And he's on the ground and he's dead, obviously, but he starts laughing and he goes, you fucker. God, that was great. And so it was like, okay, cool. That was cool. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I just kind of did it kind of as a joke, thinking it might make it onto the blooper reel, but it ended up staying in the film. Some people loved it. Some people thought, oh, Jesus, that was silly. Why did he have to go and do that? So, but I kind of loved the whole Balthazar Kane being this showman and being very sort of tongue in cheek. And so a lot of people kind of got that, what I was going for. And so, I really loved Balthazar Kane. And again, I would love to do a prequel or a sequel. So if you send Chris Ray, the director, send him a note. Maybe he'll do that for us.
And I got to watch that movie because Sadwar is one of my favorite actors. I really love Titus. I really love Dumbledore. I'm amazed. I don't know. I didn't know that he was a screenwriter. So I really need to watch that. And of course, the prequel of the sequel. We hope I will translate.
Yes.
Bueno, César y Jhon, creo que ahí se dieron cuenta de un gran momento para el canal porque él improvisó unas líneas de la película. Creo que César las recuerda. Pues iré al grano. Dice que sí, claro, César. De hecho, los dos escritores que son James Cullen-Bressak, Sean Sellers, y obviamente la historia que es de Yo no sabía, de Sadwar, el mismo actor que sale en Titus y en Don Blin, uno de mis favoritos. Resulta que ellos dijeron que sí, que el personaje en parte está basado un poco en el look de Rob Zombie, sí. Que sí, tú sabes muy bien que, bueno, tú viste la historia, ¿no? Que él fue quemado, bueno, resulta que 50%, o sea, 100% de las líneas casi todas fueron improvisadas. De hecho, esas líneas que está diciendo la de como que, ¿sabías que la cabeza humana solo pesa 8 kilos? Sí. Se la improvisó, obviamente todo el mundo se echó a reír, pero 50% del material que él improvisó fue el que se usó. O sea, puede haber una especie de director Scott. Él dice que amaría hacer secuela, precuela. Dice que es un personaje que amó porque metió mucho de teatro griego. Es un personaje que él creó de 0 a 100. Obviamente sabe muy bien, en el elenco está Jonathan Lipnicki, el de Jerry Maguire. Por eso en una línea él dice como que Jerry, no hagas esto, porque él usó muchos chistes de la cultura pop. O sea, yo creo que con eso te lo dije todo.
Sí, ojalá que sí se haga una secuela o precuela, porque sí lo
Sí.
vale.
Pues de hecho, bueno, aquí no, John, aquí nos dijo esto Tim, ¿no? Que ojalá en el canal, pues Christopher Ray, por favor. Sería bueno hacer una secuela o una precuela. Además que sabemos que él es un de mis directores favoritos, pero bueno, dale.
Yo sé que ahí vamos a hablar sobre algo que tú vas a amar, pero ahí es donde quiero, es que la película de toda la marina, de todo el tema de conflicto. No, yo me le quito el sombrero ante Team Sniper Special Ops, que es una de las más favoritas mías. De hecho, yo le voy a ser sincero, Tim, me la he visto 4 veces. 4 veces la película. ¿Por qué? Porque primero es tan realista. Segundo, el personaje él representa lo que son el día a día de los soldados americanos. Y tercero, la actitud de Tim es el macho alfa completamente. Y lo que yo quiero saber, yo sé que acorde a su experiencia como militar, ¿cómo fue dar ese realismo y gran parte de la evolución? ¿Qué tanto ha cambiado las películas de ese estilo a la actualidad? ¿Cómo lo ven de pronto las personas del ejército?
Y déjame agregarle 2 cosas, porque esta es la... Ok, Tim, I don't know if you understand a little Spanish, but John really loves, he saw 4 times the movie Sniper Special Ops. And so he had a question, but if you allow me, I will do another 2 questions about this movie.
Sure.
Okay. He wants to know that because John feels that it's so real, like the world of the Marines that he's shown. So if you use some of the background of your military career, I will ask 2 things, not only for this movie, but for We Were Soldiers, of course. And I really want to ask you because, believe it or not, I'm a really big fan of all your work with Fred and Ray, but in the softcore genre. But for me, I don't lie. I watched all those in the 90s, 2000s. I watched all those movies plus the 10 p.m. Sorry. And of course, I had to watch it with low volume. So my dad won't catch me out watching it. But I really love his work because it's so classy. And I know the friend now works with an alias, a nickname, doing more hard stuff. But I really love Matthews. No, man, I really love the whole genre that he creates. So tell us about, if you use your experience as a soldier from this movie and from We Were Soldiers, and how was working with Fred and Ray.
No, you mean for which movie now?
Sniper Special Ops, the favorite movie from Jhon.
Gotcha. Sniper Special Ops, yes, of course. My military background as a Ranger in the Army all came into play. I mean, it goes all the way back to when I did the Jerry Bruckheimer TV series Soldier of Fortune. And so I got to use a lot of that background in the character I played of Benny Ray Riddle. Cut forward to this movie with Fred Olin Ray, and Fred and I have done probably, I don't know, close to 20 movies together, and all different genres. You know, he's done, you know, from the early Fred Ray to the action stuff, and cut to us doing Sniper Special Ops. He had Steven Seagal locked up to do the film, and so he wrote the film kind of based on Steven Seagal's availability to do the film. And so Fred, we had dinner, and Fred says, "Listen, I have this script. I'm making this movie with Steven Seagal. Would you take a look at the script?" And he goes, "I want you to be my star in the movie." He goes, "But obviously Steven Seagal is going to be that guy. He's going to be the name above the title star." He goes, "But I want you to be my main character." And he said, "Who's trying to save Steven Seagal and the other kid who gets shot." And basically, he said, just take a look at the script. And so I gave him some ideas on the script, and he asked me about certain technical things, which I helped him with. And that's kind of how it happened. I didn't have to read for it audition. He just said, I want you to play this character. It's, he's kind of based on all kinds of things, but, he's this character is a career military man, special operations type. And he goes, and he loves what he does. He's good at what he does. And his men mean everything to him. So the character's named Mosby, but kind of based on one of the Confederate generals, Mosby's Rangers, which as a young man in the Rangers, I learned about historically, because we had to learn all the backstory of how the Rangers came to be and how the Rangers, their lineage from the French and Indian Wars to the Civil War, hence Mosby's Rangers, who conducted raids. And so we talked about that, and I put a little bit of flavor of that in there with the history of my background and my family in the Civil War and other wars as well, and kind of plugged them all into Sergeant Vic Mosby, Sergeant First Class Vic Mosby, and made that happen. But it was, again, one of those great characters that, for me, Fred Ray is a wonderful pal of mine and a friend, great director, and he writes these. I mean, he's just got a gift for creating these scripts and writing these scripts and getting them knocked out, and then getting them done. So I'm always working with Fred. Has always been like, you've seen all of Fred or a lot of Fred's movies, I'm assuming, and it's like an ensemble. He gets a lot of the actors and the crew and people that he loves working with and puts them together, and they work on a lot of projects together. And so you get to, when you watch one of Fred's movies, if you've watched previous ones, you go, oh, there's Jay Richardson, or there's Ted Monty, or there's so-and-so. I mean, Fred uses a lot of the same actors because he loves that ensemble feel. So I felt very, very honored to work on this movie. We shot at Blue Cloud Ranch, and it was just 3 weeks of great fun. So Steven Seagal came in and worked for a couple of days, and that was the most interesting part of the film. Was we had a limited time to work with Steven Seagal, so Fred really had to get all of Steven's stuff shot and get him out of there. So we didn't have a lot of time to goof around with Steven. So a lot of the scenes that you watch in the film, it's we're there for Steven, but Steven can't be there for the turnaround getting us, which was fine. But that's just the nature of the beast, and trying to get him shot out so that we can get the movie made within the budget. So, but the film itself, it's funny because there's not a lot of, I should say there's none of Steven doing any martial arts. And I remember asking Chris Ray, who was the line producer on the film, as well as the first AD. And I said, Chris, why isn't, and there was stuff written into the script that Fred had written. And I said, why isn't Steven doing his, martial art takedown in just a couple scenes? And Chris just goes, yeah, comes down to this. He goes, he wanted more money, and we're not going to pay him more money. So he didn't do any. So it's really just Steven Seagal doing his best Steven Seagal impression of himself. And we kind of had everyone else kind of carried the film. It was well done, I thought, for the amount of money that they had to make the film. And the film did well, made them money. And I had a great time working with the cast, and Rob Van Dam, just a great guy. He was a fun guy to work with, and they put together this crew of people, other people that I've worked with before, and behind the scenes and in the scenes and in the film as well. But it was a great collaboration, and they brought a lot of veterans in to work on the film as well. And so really, for me as an actor, I had a great time working on the film. As I go, it's not American Sniper. It's not an Academy Award winning film, but it was a great action-packed, fun film for me to be involved with. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No, in fact, Jhon doesn't lie. He watched it 4 times. He was And I got to tell you before I translate, my favorite, I got two favorite in the softcore genre. I got two favorite movies for Fred.
Yeah.
One is Possessed by the Night. I know that you don't appear in that, but Matthews for me is like a really, yeah, the comedy is the aspect, but it's so classy, man. Okay, but I will translate.
That was that was the second film I did with Fred, was Masseuse. And
Yes.
yeah, that was a great character. I love playing that was a fun character to play.
I really love when I catch up the movie every 10 p.m. Oh, yes, on rerun. But love the volume. Enjoy. Ok, will translate. John, vas a amar esto. Creo que hasta vas a llorar. Porque resulta que sí, de hecho, esto usó gran parte de su background. De hecho, más que, porque yo le pregunté, pues por la película Weird Soldier, dice que no. Donde más usó él su background es en la serie, tú sabes, Soldier of Fortune, de Jerry Bruckheimer, gran serie. Dice que sí se basó especialmente en las experiencias de Marines, más que todo la carrera que tuvo Seagal como Marine. Tú sabes que él fue Marine. Pero acá hay algo increíble en esta película que tú lo notaste. Una anécdota para no extenderme tanto. Increíblemente las escenas de Seagal creo que se hicieron como un día. Habían dos reglas. Primero, pues ellos querían como que salgamos de Steven, o sea, hagamos las tomas con Steven. Y que es muy gracioso porque la película no tiene, si te das cuenta, son las más raras de él porque no tiene pelea. Dice que fue más por cuestión de presupuesto, porque decían como que pues Seagal cobra mucho por sus escenas. Pero hay algo increíble. Ellos hicieron eso normal. Si te das cuenta, la película lo que tiene es una gran relación entre Mosef Tim, que tú sabes muy bien que Mosef es un nombre que se usa, es basado en un personaje real, en la relación que tiene Tim, y tú sabes ese gran personaje de la niña, tú sabes. Entonces, por eso es que tú ves eso, además de que Rod Van Damme, tú sabes, excelente. Entonces dice que para Tim que es un honor haber hecho esa película, porque sí, todo el entrenamiento que tuvo, sí lo usó para ello. Dice que con Fred, le pregunté cómo era trabajar con Fred Lan Rey, y yo le dije cuál es mi película favorita, bueno, se llama La Masajista, Masseuse. Él dice que Masseuse es la segunda que hizo con él. Dice que Fred siempre tiene un equipo, y ese equipo es gracioso porque pues tú has visto que hay gente muy buena, o sea, grandes trabajo con él, pues Tim, Eric Roberts, pero es como que los amigos de él, o sea, y es como siempre una familia. De hecho, es muy raro que lograra pues esa conexión con Steven, pero Steven siguió trabajando con Fred. Dice que es muy amigo de él, y pues esa es la anécdota más importante, que es basada en las memorias de la Marina de Seagal, pero Seagal solo usaron un día. O sea que en realidad la película es Tim. Y creo que la amaste. Tienes que felicitarlo.
Esta gran oportunidad.
Hi there, Tim. How are you? Grant's here too.
Hey, Tim.
I see you guys. I'm
It
glad,
is an excellent
you guys
movie.
are wearing clothes this time.
Well,
Funny,
you are
funny.
too.
You are too. We've watched this 2 or 3 times. Anything that you do, we watch.
We have
several
our Tim
times.
collection.
Yes, we do.
I can't wait to see you hold up a vampire line.
Oh, you and
One of
me
these
both,
days.
dude.
One of these days, sir.
You and me both. We're still trying to get it out there.
You'll get him. You'll get the money.
Yep.
We will. Well, we tuned in to see your interview on you.
Well, great. Jhon, the Workmans are very talented writers, science fiction writers and whatnot. And they wrote an outstanding book or 2 books of short stories called Vampire Line. And they've tapped me to play Andrew, the lead vampire. So they're trying to raise the money right now to make that happen. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, we have a website they can take a look at. We have a trailer with you in it. You can see it on YouTube.
Awesome.
I feel so blessed to talk with you guys because I need to show you as a writer. I'm also a writer too, so it's always great to talk with the people from the industry. I got a book from Short Histories. It's called El Amor de los Enciclopedistas, like the Encyclopedist Lovers in English. So we really need to know more about your collection. It's great to see Tim with clothes. Of course, I love his movie or his work in the 90s. But I will tell to Jhon, Jhon, es que ellos tienen todas las películas de Tim.
Wow.
Y increíble. Ellos también tienen un libro de One Per Lines, son escritores, 2 libros. El tráiler sale teen, y lo más bello es que, bueno, ahí tú sí les ganaste. Ellos han visto la película 3 veces, but you are wrong with the numbers because Jhon has watched Sniper Special 4 times, so you need one more time and you can be tied up with Jhon. Okay, now this is the last question from Jhon because Cesar got more questions. What can we learn? Okay, this is the next question. What can we learn from Renee, the character in Soldier of God, about the faith? Because Jhon has said that he suffered the whole movie, suffering in the good way. I mean, in the whole in all the burden that the character got. So, what can we learn from Renee in that movie, Soldier of God?
Soldier of God is it's one of my favorite films that I've done. The character-wise, it's just it was a lower budgeted film that a friend of mine, a writer, named Mir Baminyar, he had this idea for this Templar Knight, and it had to do with a warrior without a war, a warrior who was lost somewhere in the middle in that purgatory of trying to find his way back to the war. So the script was written by a woman named Catherine Kuhner, I believe he'd hired, and then he came on board and worked with her. But it had to do with that that warrior mentality that the Templar Knights, that they give themselves over to God and to the conquest of those who are the non-believers, the Muslims and the Saladin, and about that war that they had. And so that's why the picture takes place kind of at the beginning of the war of the Horns of Hattin, where the Templars were pretty much annihilated, and then those who were captured were pretty much all beheaded and killed or sold into slavery, and because they would not repent, or they would not renounce their faith and become Muslim. So they gave no quarter and they asked no quarter. So that character was just trying to understand that character. I mean, I did a lot of research about the Templar Knights, about their faith that they had, about the war, and it's that lion and lamb mentality. They were lambs of God when they weren't fighting, and everything was about being devout and loving and giving. But in times of war and battle, fighting against their enemy, they became lions, and they were fierce, and they were feared by their enemies, by Saladin. They fought to the death. And so putting Rene into a situation where he has to rely on someone who is basically one of his enemy, who's a Muslim, to help him, and then to give him the temptation of the flesh with Sohaila, this beautiful Muslim woman, and there they are in the middle of the desert, these 3 people, and it's about how does he handle all of those and what happens. And it's still, to me, one of those movies where I still think about that character, because it's still so beautifully shot. I mean, first of all, just gorgeously shot by Neil Liscu, who was a wonderful EP who passed away unexpectedly. But the character is just still one of these characters that I just find so fascinating. And when I think about how devout and how faithful he was to his cause and to his belief in God.
Bueno, Jhon.
We had that one too.
Oh,
Wow. No, eso es oro. Dios santo, no lo puedo creer.
We've got all of his movies.
A lot of it.
wow.
I was going to say one thing, Andres, is that there was I remember one of the screenings we had at one of the film festivals, and there was a gentleman that I used to go to acting class with, and I remember kind of a sensitive type, and he was just taken aback by the ending of the film, And I won't spoil it for anybody who's not seen it, but if you've seen the film, you understand, like with Sahela, what happens, and then she gets in the middle of a battle, and he was just like, why would you do that? Why? He was so totally affected and pissed off that happened. And I'm just like, well, it makes you, I mean, still to this day, you go, I mean, he's probably still going. I have to say that I think we stopped being friends during that time. I think it just totally, part of my language, but just fucked with his head about that scene, about what happened to her.
It's okay, you can curse in this channel.
Okay.
Jhon, empiezo desde atrás porque hay una anécdota que yo tengo que hacer esta pregunta y tú me puedes responder sin decir, solo con el rostro. El final te afectó, ¿cierto? El final es fuerte, ¿no? ¿Qué sucede? Hay una anécdota muy interesante. Resulta que en uno de los screenings de la película, él se encontró con un compañero que hace rato no veía de una escuela de actuación. Sabes que Tim es formado en teatro. Y resulta que al final de la película, él le dijo, ¿pero por qué? ¿Por qué haces eso? Desde ahí, dice Tim, bueno, con groserías, que eso le jodió la cabeza porque ya no se hablan. Se volvió enemigo por el papel tan fuerte que hace René. ¿En qué sentido? Bueno, tú que viste la cinta lo sabes más. Sabes muy bien que él tiene que mediar entre esas personas, esos musulmanes, que él los describe que son como corderos amando a Dios, pero en la batalla son fuertes, y tú sabes bien que esa película tiene buena fotografía y las escenas de batallas son excelentes, y además que hay un factor que pues él se enamora pues de esta protagonista, la hermosa, la Abell, creo que se llama. Entonces dice que ese papel lo impactó muchísimo. Bueno, aquí otro dato, ¿no? El director de fotografía murió, y que esto fue escrito pues el guión fue escrito por una mujer, se llama, bueno, ahí son dos personas, pero más que todo es por Catherine, sí, por Catherine Cullen. Dice que no, que hay una investigación enorme en torno a cómo eran esas batallas, obviamente los templarios, a toda esa cuestión de la guerra y todo, pero dice que es una cinta que lo impactó tanto a él como actor, dice que es sus favoritas, como a los que lo miran. Yo creo que con eso te dije todo. Ok, oh, show, no, don't worry. Show.
Oh, ¿cuál?
Why? Show us. Mary, show us the movie.
The
What?
DVD.
Oh,
Soldier of God.
All, todos.
And the other one. And what is the other one?
Well, here's another one.
Oh,
Bandit. But we also have subconscious. And we also have Circus Kane. We just can't find it in the closet.
Cesar has a question about Circus Kane. Don't worry.
Sí, del Baltasar Kane.
This interview will be uploaded and you can watch it. So the question about Circus Kane wasn't.
I'm the one I went to the premiere with my girlfriend for Circus Kane. So
Wow,
it was
César, te da envidia.
It was Kirk.
Fue la premier, ¿no?
Sí,
Yeah.
con la novia.
Wow, sí.
Cesar really envy you because it's one of his favorite movies. When we upload this interview, you will see the answer for Tim. Was amazing. Le estoy diciendo que cuando vea la entrevista va a disfrutar la respuesta que dio Tim, pero continuemos.
Brand didn't get to go because he was working. So my girlfriend went with me.
César, te doy la palabra por la última pregunta y Andrés complementarla.
Ok.
Creo que tiene dos.
Bueno, hago esta. Es sobre Nation, la serie de Netflix. Tim aparece en uno de los capítulos y bueno, a mí que me encantan los zombies, quiero preguntarle qué representan los zombies para él y si tiene alguna experiencia que pueda compartirnos sobre esta serie, Nation.
Okay, Cesar is a big fan from Nation, and of course you appear in one episode, and he wants to know what. I don't know what, because Cesar, as Jhon, as myself, we are indie filmmakers, and Cesar really loves the zombie genre. What are your thoughts about this genre? ¿En qué es la otra? Y si le gustaría.
Well, I'll tell you this is a great connection with between Circus Kane and Z Nation, and the DP, director of photography for Circus Kane, was a director. DP named Yellen, and as Mr. Yellen was Alexander Yellen, and he basically was also directing and DPing a lot of the Z Nation episodes. And so from our working together on Circus Kane, we talked, and he said, "Man, I just really want to work with you sometime." And again, as a director, and it didn't work out. He ended up being the DP on the episode that I worked on Z Nation, but because of his generosity and talking to the producers on Z Nation, I got cast for that guest star on Z Nation. So, but yeah, Alexander is just a great guy, and I love the zombie world as well. And playing that was a fun day of work, playing one of the American forefathers, Mason, and having zombies involved, and that was a lot of fun.
Bueno, César, acá hay un dato buenísimo. Resulta que el director de fotografía de Circus Kane, Jared Briley, fue el director de este episodio. Y gracias a eso fue que se logró este contacto de que él fuera, tú sabes que es el actor invitado a este capítulo. Obviamente se habla de los padres de la patria y de cómo extrañamente pues se involucra la historia de los zombies. Dice que quería dar ese dato, que obviamente le fascina este género como tal de cine, pero yo creo que este dato vale oro porque pues quién se iba a imaginar la conexión entre ambos. Además de creo que Sadworth también sale en ese episodio. Y pues bueno, no sé si tenía otra pregunta, dinos.
Sí, César.
Dale, creo que tienes otra.
Bueno, ok. Quería preguntarle sobre los inicios en su carrera, pero creo que ya lo mencionó, porque ahora me salté mucho al pasado por una película del 93 donde él sale, Sunset Strip. Bueno, si pudiera hablarnos, ¿qué recuerda? Este fue de sus primeros trabajos, según el IMDb, es su tercer película. ¿Qué recuerda? ¿Alguna experiencia que quiera compartirnos participando acá en Sunset Strip? Bueno, voy a decir rápido de qué trata. Es una chica que está estudiando para ser bailarina y tiene una audición muy importante, pero bueno, tiene que también que sacar dinero para poder vivir, y entonces por las noches es stripper. Y pues bueno, nada más que nos comparta algo de esta película del 93.
As you can see, bad, really early days. What are your memories about Sunset Street?
Wow. Now that's going way back to like one of my first films. Paul Volk directed that, and it was for PM Entertainment, I believe it was called. But what I remember about that was there was a guy named Robert Zadar. I think he played was he in that? I think he might have been Robert Zadar. There was also Jeff Conway from Taxi, who died a few years back. And it was, again, it was one of my first films playing like a lead character, the good guy. And that was, it was, I look back and I go, because I think that's available actually like on some like on Pluto TV and other types of TV out there. So you can still see it. It's one of those ones where if someone says that they saw it, I always go, well, how much do I owe you? I got to pay you some money for watching that. Because it was like, wow, I was still learning to be an actor. I was still learning to be I should say all the tools of the trade of being an actor, being a good actor. And, but that's, again, I look at that as, just still as a neophyte and trying to learn how to be an actor. And that was like one of those times I was like, I wish I could go back and apply what I know now to the character, because it'd be a much better film, I think. But it was a lot of fun. And again, as a young actor, it was, that's how we learn.
Bueno, César, obviamente él vuelve acá a traer ese recuerdo que dice que sí, que él tiene esa sensación de que esas películas que hizo al principio de su carrera le gustaría rehacerlas. De hecho, tomando todo lo que ha aprendido ahora como actor, porque como él dijo al principio, para él sí un proceso de aprendizaje, pero pues que tiene unos recuerdos muy chéveres sobre la película, porque bueno, sabes muy bien, es de Paul G. Ball, el director, y que él dice que incluso otra película que comenzó con un buen elenco, de hecho está Jeff Conway, dice que es genial saber que en sus inicios, o sea, él comenzó pero con papeles estelares, o sea, no tanto así como esto de reparto. Dice que era el chico bueno en esta película, pero pues que él dice que, digamos, tiene ese buen recuerdo de nuevo, un buen elenco donde se llevaba muy bien, un director, bueno, acá el que falleció creo que es el otro actor de reparto de esta cinta, pero él dice que no, que le gustaría incluso repetirle, sería muy interesante hacer eso con todo lo que ha aprendido.
Sí, de hecho sí.
Ok, Jhon, César, no sé.
No, yo quiero darle un fuerte aplauso
Bravo.
Tin, tin,
Oh,
tin, tin.
bravísimo.
No, de hecho, quisiera pedirle a Tim un saludo para Colombia, el canal, y bueno, sus redes sociales, todo.
18, the camera is yours. You want to send a hi from Colombia, from Mexico, from the people to watch the channel and give us your social media so people can follow you? Go ahead.
Sure.
Or promote a movie, I don't know.
Well, first I want to know when is Jhon going to hire me to come to Colombia to work on his movies? Yeah.
Oh, John, dice él que si tú puedes contratarlo para que traen sus películas. Es la meta. And believe us that I will speak for all of us. The reason why this channel exists, Jhon created, Jhon is the mastermind, is because in the city, in Cucuta, the city we live, that is the border with Venezuela. Okay, it's Jhon and myself because Cesar is from Mexico. We don't got film schools, but we got a lot of young kids that are directing. And so this began like a university project that just got bigger, and we now got the honor to get people like yourself. I know you watch the channel, so you see that is crazy. It's crazy because this is a small city. So we really want to grow, of course, grow the budgets, and we continue doing movies, and of course, doing movies with people like yourself. It will be amazing because you know that Colombia doesn't got a big industry. Mexico got a bigger industry in movies, but still for Latinos is hard. But you know that we got great movies. You know the Embrace of the Serpent. You know. Now imagine the small cities, and it's crazy because in Latin America, every small city do short films. In Cucuta, in fact, we are making our third movie. In fact, Jhon is one of the few directors that made a big movie in the city. It's called Operación Agramón, and it's crazy because I don't know how he was able, like in the 20s, to make a movie. So, no, and then we became friends. So, Jhon, por favor, consiguen. No, we can see it. Tienes que quitar el Jhon, no se puede ver porque se está la.
We have to watch that. How do we watch that?
Jhon, ¿cómo la podemos ver? Compártele tú después el link para que él la vea en movies. Jhon will share the link from that movie and of course links from short films. In fact, I was nominated today to a festival in Venezuela. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's crazy because in fact in this city there is no much support to us, but and I'm glad to talk with Murray and with his friends, his boyfriend, because I publish a book, and it's crazy because in the city there is no many book stores. There is a really beautiful library, but it's not a city that supports the culture. But for the know, we are going to publish books, we are going to do movies. So thank you for being part of this idea from Jhon. In fact, we are not making any money. We are doing it for the love of art and for the people who watch that, learn from the people who can teach what to do movies.
Well, I'll tell you this. I watched your interview with Michael Seamus Wiles, and he's a wonderful actor and friend. I haven't seen him in a few years now, but he's a great guy. So you should hire us both to come to Colombia and make your film, Jhon.
Jhon, que él dice que obviamente dio la entrevista con Chamus, que in fact that interview it was crazy. I will tell you later.
Yeah.
But dice que quiere que consigas dinero para que contrate a Chamus y a Tim, porque él dice que hace mucho tiempo no se ven y sería buenísimo volverlo a tener.
Sería una bomba, sí.
We will be. Jhon has said that.
And Cesar, go to Facebook on either Grant Workman or Mary Workman's Facebook or Workman's Imaginations and send us an email, and we will email you back. If you give us an address, we'll send you the 5 books that we have published. Okay? Say something.
Oh,
Creo que más o menos entendí. Wow, wow,
oh,
wow.
as believe me, as a writer, I'm a bookworm. I really love to read. Oh my God.
Because
Dice que le envíes.
we have Vampire Line published, 2 books, a sci-fi space book, Sword and Sorcery with Magic, and another vampire book.
Ooh.
I will promise something. If you can send us back the address, and I will send 2 books, one for you bought and one for Tim. It's in Spanish. The bad thing is that it's in Spanish.
We'll get it
That's-
translated. Don't worry about that.
I will do that. I will translate the book and I will send you a PDF because
Okay.
editing is expensive here. But Jhon, que le demos una
Send us the
dirección.
real book.
Just send us
Just
the
send us
real
the real
book.
book.
I will
We'll
do
send you
possible.
our books. You send us your book. That'll be a great trade.
I got a friend in the States, so I will ask the favor. It will take long, but don't worry. 1 for Tim and 1 for both of you.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Jhon, que leemos una dirección, nos va a enviar los 5 libros. Hay libros de vampiros, de brujería, de espadachines, de todo lo que amamos.
Sí.
Y que ellos nos
Cool.
van a enviar la dirección y yo creo que sería bueno enviarle ahí su película y yo le voy a enviar los libros. Uno para Tim.
Sí, voy a escribir la historia, se lo aseguro. Porque
And he will write the screenplay from you and from Chamus. We don't know. No, in fact,
Perfect.
I will tell you something before. It's crazy because you asked me at the beginning about the situation in Colombia. It's crazy because the government, I don't want to talk about politics, but I will talk about culture. The government was the one that, because as you know, we got a president, but that president is from a party that has been like 20 years in the country. That party created the law that supports movies. And as you know, we get to the Oscars with the Embraces of the Serpent, and we got really cool movies in Colombia. But that same party that created that law take us. So we all the filmmakers who are like, okay, yeah, we know that we are on a pandemic, but in fact, people need to see movies. So you are taking the money to watch movies. And we got like the big names, no, Ciro Guerra, but what happened with the small, the young guys that are doing short films? So I really wish not only Colombia, but Mexico and Latin America to get money to do movies. You know that Latinos are real talented.
Yeah,
So-
you have your own stories, your own
Yes.
culture. That's what I think is the fascinating aspect of filmmaking is no matter where you're from, that you can tell. Listen, it's one of those things that was it previously like a year and a half, 2 years ago. The Oscars had what was the Korean film?
Parasite.
Yes, Parasite.
Parasite.
And so most people, they would think, oh, it's a foreign film. I'm not going to watch it. It's subtitles. But I love that. That's what I love, that changing of that stalwart regard that we can only look at American films as films that are up for the American Academy Award as opposed to just a foreign film. And Parasite really opened up people's eyes because they watched that film. It's like, wow, that's a damn good film. They have their own culture. They have their own insight. They have their own everything having to do with how they storytell. And same thing in Colombia. You think about what you guys do and how you live and what you're going through culturally, what you're going through politically, what your country's like, and you're next door to Venezuela and what's happened there. There's so many stories that you guys have that people are yearning to hear, to watch. I should say, watch a movie, and to see what is in your hearts and in your minds and what you guys have gone through to deal with your country and your lives and your passions and what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and what drives you every day. So that's what I love. I love films that tell that, as well as books.
Jhon dice que Parasite nos enseñó que cada país tiene sus historias, que él por eso desea saber qué se está contando en cada nación, en toda Latinoamérica, no solo en películas, sino en libros, porque nos van a mostrar otra forma de ver el mundo. But later, but now, thank you. I won't forget this moment, but the camera is yours. Tell us, send us a bit hi to the channel, to Colombia, to Mexico, to everywhere. Give us your social media so people can follow you. If you want to talk about a project, go ahead.
Sure. I just want to say, thank you guys very much for having me on. South America, Central America, Mexico, those are, I mean, all the Latino filmmakers that are out there, and storytellers and writers and artists. I mean, I've had the great advantage to work with some really wonderful artists and some from those areas. And I look forward to hearing more and being part of some of those stories. And my social media, it's like, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and pretty much kind of that's it. I'm not on TikTok and those other things, but and I am on YouTube. I like watching things on YouTube, like Jhon's channel and his interviews. But I just want to say thank you guys, because I love the fact that you guys are big fans and of some of the work I've done and the directors I've worked with, and that makes me happy and makes me happy for the work that I've done, because as an actor, we never know if people like our work. Sometimes it's like we just work for a paycheck because it's who's offering us a job. But there's a huge fan base out there for Fred Olen Rey's films, and I love the fact that to this day, I still get lots of emails and messages from people around the world, and a lot of Fred's fans are from South America, Central America, and from Mexico, and dating all the way back to when I first started working with Fred in the 90s. So thank you guys very much for having me on, and I appreciate it. And thanks for being fans. And I look forward to working with you soon, Jhon.
Yo creo que el último lo entendiste. Quiere trabajar contigo. You can blame all those emails from the channel, the cable channel from Latin America. It was every Wednesday, I remember, every Friday and every Saturday. All those movies. We are going to take a picture, so please post. Sure. This picture is from the social media. Of course, if you can bring your boots or the movies, go ahead. I will post with my little baby. Okay, Jhon, cuando tú digas.
Películas, maybe.
Oh, the movies. If you want to show the movies. Mary, I want to tell you, I hope the next year work as a presenter in the, we call it, it's like a fair of booths in the city. I hope to work again, and I will tell to the people from, I don't promise you anything, but if I can talk with the people from the fair, from my city, to talk about the booths, you can send me the.
So much. Thank you.
But
we appreciate that. Thank you.
It's hard, but I will try.
Oh, yeah. Let me show you one of our books.
Okay, we got 10 minutes, so we can wait.
Where's it at?
Mary, don't you be working out on that Bowflex while you're on TV here. Okay?
I know, huh?
Hey, Tim, while you're still there, can you talk about Soldier of, or We Were Soldiers, and your interactions with the leads there, Sam Elliott and Mel Gibson?
Oh, that was a fun movie. I enjoyed that very much. I was only in a small part of the film. I got 6 outstanding weeks of work on that film, but I mean, 3 scenes. We Were Soldiers airs all the time. One of those movies I'm always proud of, because a lot of folks who I don't even know go, dude, I just saw We Were Soldiers again. I've seen it like 20 times, and is that you? And I go, yeah, it was me. But it's one of those films. Sam Elliott, outstanding individual. High marks. Mel Gibson as well, and Randall Wallace. Give them all thumbs up. So very, very proud of that.
Andre.
Part of that movie.
Okay, I will translate the answer from We Were Soldiers.
Okay.
And I will tell you about. I will tell you about Yes, about the photo. John, es que esto es importante. Le preguntaron sobre Weird Soldiers. Dice que es muy loco porque es un papel muy corto. Dicen que siempre hay mucha gente que se la hace como que tú estabas en esa película, pero dice que obviamente, pues imagínate la experiencia pues, de trabajar con Bill Gibson, con Greg Kinnear, con Sam Elliott. Entonces dice que es una de las películas que recuerda porque también volvió a usar parte de lo que aprendió. And now we're going to take the picture. So John, please pose with your boot. The boot.
The boot movies.
The boot. Mary, the boot. Show us the boot.
We had Grant's cousin do the pictures with her camera back in Ohio, and a friend that we know of who's an actor did the
graphics.
The graphics.
Graphics. Yeah. I will tell you something quick about the I know the cover is it's like an abstract cover. The cover is an homage from a friend, like not a painter, like an artist, like yes,
graphic
it's an
artist?
abstract.
Abstract artist, yes. The history is sad because he was one of my best friends. He did only one exhibition. The exhibition fails. When I knew about him later, because I was in a dinner talking with people that know him, oh, you know what happened with Hernando? The people told me, did you know? He killed himself. And I didn't know it because
we're sorry.
No, but I made the promise that I will show his work on the cover of my first book. So
very nice. Very nice. We're sorry to hear that.
No, yeah. Les conté la historia, tú ya la sabes, ¿no? De la portada de mi libro. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Thank you for having the interview with Tim. He's one of our best people. Yep, and posting it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mary and Grant.
You're quite welcome, Tim.
We always enjoy your company, Tim.
Always.
Likewise. And it's always good to see you guys. Very talented writers. So I think you'll enjoy their writing, Andres.
I know I will enjoy. Believe me, I'm a bookworm. I love to read everything. And of course, thank you so much for being here. It's really an honor. And bye. And John, write that part from Tim.
Yes, we're already connected. Good. I look forward to reading your script, John.
Yes, John, que les envíe ese link. And of course, we will share later the link from this interview. And Tim, if you can share the link from the channel, it will be great. So they can watch the interview from Sean's wives.
Be my pleasure. All right.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Gracias, Tim.
Leave at the bottom.
Cheers.